Ahoy shipmates, Shelby here, your Chief Officer Safety, part-time pool inspector, full-time suntan enforcer, and unofficial cannonball judge. Now you might think a cruise ship pool is just a floating hot tub for people with questionable sunscreen habits, but let me tell you, these things are engineering marvels. They're also carefully managed zones of splashy chaos where luxury meets maritime legislation. Today we're diving headfirst, feet first if you're near signage, into the wild world of cruise ship pools. What's heated, what's safe, and what's secretly a whirlpool of drama when Cheryl from Deck 9 tries to claim 6 loungers with 1 towel. Let's start with the basics. On a 7-day voyage, the average cruise guest spends about 5 hours a day somewhere near the pool. That's 35 hours of strategic sunbathing, frozen cocktails, and suspicious hot dog consumption. So yes, pools matter. They're not just a perk, they're a core part of the floating resort fantasy. But this is a pool, on a moving building, in the middle of the ocean, filled with hundreds of people who think SPF 4 is enough. So how does it all work? Not all pools are created equal, you know. Cruise ships typically have a few varieties. You've got your main pools, big, open-air, prime territory for water aerobics, nap contests, and, well, that one kid doing cannonballs during quiet hours. These are usually freshwater and sometimes heated, sometimes not. If it feels like the Arctic, congratulations. You're on a ship that recycles seawater and decided to pass the heating cost to your goosebumps. Next, the adult-only solarium pools. These are spa-like sanctuaries with glass roofs and ambient music, where people read mystery novels and, let's be honest, judge each other's sandals. Always heated, always calm. You have to be over 16 to get in, which is probably why they're so peaceful. And yes, there's usually that one bloke who falls asleep face down and leaves with a lobster-colored back and the imprint of a Kindle on his forehead. Now the kids' splash zones, absolute chaos in the form of water cannons dumping buckets and padded floors. Shallow water, but wow, deep levels of energy. These zones have strict hygiene rules. Swim nappies only supervise play and hourly chemical testing. And by the way, if your child did have a little accident in the water, please tell us. We don't want to find out when the chlorine spikes and your toddler's the suspect. Then there are the hot tubs, or as I call them, people soup. Lovely when used responsibly, but honestly, terrifying when overcooked. Legally, hot tubs are capped at 40 degrees Celsius. That's about 104 Fahrenheit. Because after that, you're not relaxing, you're slow cooking. But what about the tech behind these aquatic wonders? Most pools today are freshwater and recirculated, meaning the water's constantly filtered, cleaned, and monitored. Chlorine levels are checked multiple times per day, and pH levels are logged more often than the average guest checks their bar tab. Some ships also use UV reactors. These are like Jedi lightsabers for germs. They zap microbes, including chlorine-resistant ones like Cryptosporidium, in under a second. If your ship still uses seawater, well, brace yourself. It might be naturally invigorating, but that's cruise ship speak for bring a wetsuit. Heating-wise, pool temps usually hover between 24 and 37 degrees Celsius. That's 75 to 98 Fahrenheit for my friends across the pond. But remember, not all pools are heated, especially on older ships or tropical itineraries where they assume the sun will do the job. Spoiler, sometimes it doesn't. Just ask anyone who's ever jumped into a Norwegian fjord pool in May. You'll find them in the infirmary. Or, wrapped in 5 towels muttering, "Why didn't I check the brochure?" Let's talk safety. These pools aren't just maintained, they're fortified. Slip-resistant decks are standard, with special resin coatings and drainage channels. No puddles, no slipping. That's the idea anyway, until someone sprints across the deck in flip-flops chasing a runaway beach ball. Don't be that person. You're not on Wipeout. Now here's where it gets clever. Motion sensors. When the ship starts rolling or pitching, pools can drain automatically to prevent surge injuries. This stops you from getting yeeted across the Lido deck like a poorly tied inflatable duck. If the swell hits a certain threshold, the pool will either partially empty or close completely. If it doesn't, you're about to witness the Pacific's version of a rinse cycle. And yes, we have lifeguards. Disney led the charge with certified lifeguards on every pool all day long. Other cruise lines followed suit, Royal Caribbean for example. But remember, lifeguards are not babysitters. Parents, you signed 2 disclaimers and walked past 4 signs saying you still have to watch your own kids. That's not for legal fun. It's because we don't want to fish little Timmy out of the deep end while you're in line for tacos. Chemical safety? On point. Chlorine is monitored constantly. We aim for a range between 2 to 4 parts per million, with a neutral pH. Anything out of range and that pool goes offline faster than a dodgy Wi-Fi login. And you don't want to be the reason a pool is closed for sanitary reasons. That's the kind of onboard legend you never live down. Let's not forget accessibility. Newer ships have pool lifts for guests with reduced mobility, gradual ramps instead of ladders, and strategically placed handrails. Because every guest deserves a good splash, no matter their age, ability, or agility level. Now, let me share a few cautionary tales. In 2024, we had a norovirus outbreak on 3 ships, traced back to the kiddie splash zones. Why? Not enough pre-swim showers and, well, let's just say number 2 became public. That led to immediate sanitation overhauls, more sinks, more signs, and one very traumatized chemical logbook. Another time, during a North Sea crossing, the pool wasn't drained quickly enough and 7 people got minor injuries from a surge wave. Since then, most ships have automated surge protocols tied directly to the ship's motion sensors. Because honestly, no one wants to be blindsided by a wave while sipping a mojito. Now future tech? It's already here. We've got variable depth floors that rise up at night, turning the pool into a dance floor. We've got AI dosing systems that predict how many guests are swimming and adjust chlorine accordingly. Some pools even have wave-dampening baffles inside the walls, engineering magic that calms the splash without draining the fun. So what can you do to keep the pool fun and safe? Here's Shelby's splash zone safety list. First, check the color board. Green means go, yellow means chill, red means no, you are not special. Hold the rails, not your pina colada. Honestly, I can't rescue you if you fall in with a daiquiri in each hand. Shower before you swim, please. It helps the chemicals. It helps us all. Supervise your kids even if there's a lifeguard. We are trained, not omniscient. And if you see a hazard, report it. Wet floors, broken tiles, or suspicious bubbles. Tell a crew member. Be the hero the pool deck needs. So, are cruise ship pools safe? Yes. Are they hygienic? Also yes. Are they perfectly designed to handle the chaos of sea life and splashy guests with inflatable flamingos named Dave? Absolutely. But like everything at sea, safety is a shared voyage. You do your part. We'll do ours. If you liked this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Cruise Ship Safety and Security, and ring that bell like you just won bingo on formal night. I'm Shelby, your Chief Officer Safety, guardian of floaties, dispenser of chlorine wisdom, and the voice in your head saying, "Don't run by the pool." See you next time, shipmates. And remember, your towel might reserve your seat, but your good behavior reserves the pool for everyone else.